This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with the relationship, or just suffering from self doubt. Now, y'all know there's no shame in my game, and life has been lifing lately. Trying to manage the priorities of being a wife, mom, friend, and full time entrepreneur, it can get overwhelming. If this sounds like you, then BetterHelp wants to help you today. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to a therapist in a private online environment at your convenience. There are over 20,000 therapists in BetterHelp's network, which gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. How cool is that? Then you schedule secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can also request a new therapist anytime at no additional charge. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced therapist from BetterHelp. There's a special offer to the Slaying Self Doubt podcast listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/slang. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/slang, SLAYING. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast. You're listening to the Slaying Self-Doubt podcast with Coach Felicia, where we empower Black women to overcome their doubts, fears, and insecurities in order to give birth to their God-given purpose. Join me and sometimes some of my friends on our journey as we remind you that you are not alone. I'm Felicia Wallace, and together we will find our fears and slay them. Hey Slayers, welcome to another episode of Slaying Self-Doubt podcast. It's your girl, Coach Felicia. Welcome to all the new and continued listeners, no matter how you found the podcast, whether it was by way of guest episode, solo episode, or you found it on the Googles. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, make sure that you are connected because that's how you get information. That's how you get information about events. That's how you get information about what's going on with me. On Sundays, I generally give you a rundown of a scripture, a song, and a sermon to just bless your week. And it's something that I listen to. It's a scripture that I have read and touched my heart, or a song that I need when it's time for worship. And so I just want to share that with you, so just make sure you are connected so you don't miss out. Okay, y'all. So I know it's Tuesday, and I told y'all before, you need to be following me so that you can hear all the ins and outs of, certain stories or whatever. So I actually recorded an episode on either Thursday or Friday of last week, and I felt like I was faking it, to be very, very honest. And I think it's because I was in this space that I was just like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to share. I felt like, if I share, then, what does that really mean? What is all that self-doubt really was just rearing its ugly head as I was actually recording the episode. And even still, there were little bits and pieces of the episode that I was like, that's a word. Oh, that's a gem. And stuff like that. But really, in all honesty, I was like, I wasn't being true to myself, true to how we started this podcast, what it was all about, just really letting you know what's been going on with me and what's going on, so that so that I just remain transparent and genuine, because that's what this story has been about. This journey of what we've been doing together for the last 3 years has really me showing up at 100%, giving you the real, even the scariest things, right? To be able to tell you what's happening in my life, and to be able to show you that it's not just you. Like, the people that you think are not going through it are absolutely going through it. And so when I recorded it, I was just like, Dad, I mean, it was okay, but it just didn't feel good. I felt like I could give you more, and I felt like you deserved it. So this past weekend was the Slaying One Day virtual workshop. Yo, nobody showed up. This is actually the second month that nobody has shown up. The first month, I had more people who signed up than actually showed up for the actual event. And that was a blessing. But even still, like I was like, okay, like, this is it. And I knew the very first time that I did it, it was something that God wanted me to do. Right. And so I was like, I know this is on my heart. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And let me just go. And so for me, I don't feel like I operated out of order. What I feel like is I got excited about something and I didn't go back for like, hey, am I supposed to do this next month? Am I supposed to continue to do this? I felt like it was like, oh, God gave me something, so this must mean I'm supposed to keep doing it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I recognize that everybody ain't gonna come to everything. People are not going to show up for all the things that you do. I do. At the same time, is it disappointing? It is. It's very disappointing because you do second guess yourself. You do second guess, like, did I even really hear that? Did God actually tell me to do this? Did God tell me that this is what I'm supposed to do? And I was just like, I just felt I really went down this like space of like, what am I doing? Right. And if you've been on the journey long enough, I've been here before. And I just was like, I remember my husband asking like earlier in the week, because by Wednesday, I'm pretty sure like, well, ain't nobody signed up yet. So if no one signs up by Friday, I'm free. What you want to do on Sunday? I mean Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And so he ended up asking like, how do you feel? And I was like disappointed, but I don't feel discouraged. I don't feel like it was for nothing, or I don't even feel like I'm not supposed to do it. I was like, I honestly think maybe it's just not to the extent that it's supposed to be, or something has to be different. Like I need to make an adjustment. I need to shift. I don't know in what way, but I know for sure like I need to shift. And so Saturday came and went. I recorded a fluke podcast for y'all because I think I did it Friday. So Sunday I went to this event that I was invited to, and everything happens for a reason, y'all. So the event was supposed to be last week, which was the 11th. But it got canceled because it rained here, like real bad. It rained. And so it was rescheduled, and I needed to be there. I needed to be there because I feel like all the things that needed to happen. I needed to record that fluke episode and to know in my spirit that it was whack, right? It's to the point that I would not publish it, to not have anybody show up for the workshop, to go to this event on Sunday, because there were things that needed to change. There were things I needed to see and be okay with, right? And so I'm gonna just be honest. The very first thing is that I recognize that it needs to be in person. Like I was like, the energy that I get off of being around women who are encouraged, who are inspired, who are wanting and needing more is so different than being virtual. I recognize that virtual is easy, it is simple, but it's also, I think maybe for me, maybe in the beginning, I think God told me to do it because I needed to. I know, and even think. Look. Right now, I'm about to have a whole revelation because I realized that when He gave it to me, He said to have the workshop. But I don't. I think I put the limitation on the virtual. I put the limitation. And how many times do we do that? How many times do we say, "Okay, God gave me this, and He showed me that this is what I'm supposed to do, and I know I'm supposed to do it because it's on my heart," but I added the limitation. I added the limitation by saying, okay, I'm going to do it, but to cut costs, right? Or to make it easier for myself, or just to see, let me just put my toe in it. I'm going to make it virtual and see if people show up, right? Not understanding that, like, if he gave this to you, and if you really sat down and had a conversation with him to contemplate to say, what is this supposed to look like? Where is this supposed to be? How do you want me to present this to the world? It could have looked different, right? But what we do is we say, what's easiest for me? What's the easiest thing for me to do so that I'm still doing what's comfortable for me, but then I'm also I'm still being obedient. But are we still being obedient if we do it the easy way, if we take the smaller approach, if we don't take the risk that we know that we need to take? And so I would have it that um I mean, at the end of the day, partial obedience is disobedience. I don't care if you got kids and you work somewhere and they give you a job, or you tell somebody to do something or whatever and they do it halfway, they didn't do it. Right. They didn't put their all in. Like, it doesn't matter that it still happened. Okay, yes, but it still happened. But we're missing, it's like you set the table and you're like, yeah, but we missing knives and forks. Like, we got a plate and a cup. But how are we supposed to eat? With our hands? I mean, you can, right? But no, if you set the table, I need you to set the table. Set it. I need you to put down a placemat. I need you to put down a plate. I need a fork and a knife. I need a cup. I need a napkin. There's certain things that need to happen in order for it to be complete. So, to answer my question, partial obedience is still disobedience, right? But what we do is we take that little bit and we say, "Oh, I did it. Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Let me do it again." Well, for me, I feel like it didn't work because you didn't do it the way God told you to do it. What you did is that you said, "Oh, I'm gonna put my limitation on this, and then I'm gonna just keep the limitation, and then I'm gonna see what happens." And so, I was like, all right, well, let me see what's gonna happen. And August happened, and I was like, I know it didn't really happen because all kids, people are going back to school, kids going back to school, people still on vacation. I mean, shoot, I was on vacation and I only advertised it once, if that, or maybe twice, like, because I was on vacation. But you know what? Here I go saying, I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to do it. Then the next month comes and I say, okay, now I got a little bit more time. I'm going to give y'all 17 days, so that you know what's going on. I'm going to make sure I post it. I'm going to make sure that I'm being intentional about what it is that I'm doing. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to make it real, whatever have you. Guess what? Life happens and all the extra stuff, I told y'all last last week or whatever, my son broke his thumb and all the other stuff. Just like things were just happening. And so of course, I'm giving myself an out again and saying, oh, well, it's because of this and it's because of that. But what if it's really because I put the limitation on it? I didn't do it in its full entirety. So back to the story. So I go to this event and I am like, oh, my heart is so full being there. My heart is so full. I am so just like, this is what I need. And I realized it was the people, it was the community, it was the women that I was around, like physically around. And the fact that you don't know what it is that God's going to do. And so I know the planner of the event, the person who hosted it. And, we was having this conversation. I was telling her, what was going on. And she was just like, you need to do whatever it is that God showed you to do, because I did this and I couldn't have even imagined that this was going to be it. You know what I'm saying? And we think that when we're on this journey and we are moving forward, that you don't have to, like, you got to just keep going. Like, that's the original plan. So there's no detours, right? Sometimes you have to pause. Sometimes you have to shift. Sometimes you have to make adjustments in the midst of the journey, because it may be a slight, veering off, but you could be veering off and then you end up veering all the way off and you're like, how do we get over here? Because when it first started, because again, you are trying to do things in your own strength. And so I was like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. And so I'm like, the drawing board is, God, what do you like? You gave me this. I remember the day I was in the shower and you dropped it in my spirit. What am I missing? What is it that you need me to do? And so pause is what I've been hearing. Like, it's okay that you pause. It's okay that you stop. It's okay that you redirect, whatever it is that you reroute, whatever it is that you do. It's okay. Sometimes we got to pull over. Sometimes we have to pull the car over and be like, hold on, let me get myself together. Let me figure out what's going on. What we do is that we're like, we in the flow that we created, that we think, oh, everybody is waiting for this. And I need to be moving at this speed because so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing that. And I am learning every single day that like, your journey is your journey. And we say it, but you have to believe it. You have to know it to be true that it is only for you. So the things that he downloads to you, like none of this is by happenstance. None of this is by accident. Every single thing that I have been through that has led me up to this day, September 20th, 2022, has been by design. So why do I think that it has to look a certain type of way? Because everything before this, child, if it was up to me, there's some things I would have left out. There's some situations I would not have been in. There's some things that I would have been like, oh, I think I'll pass. Like skip me. Okay, can we go to the next year? I don't even want to do this whole year. Like skip this whole year and give me the next year. But no, everything we go through is to grow us for where it is that we're trying to get to. And so I knew that I wanted to be able to share that, but I felt like I couldn't share it without being honest about what it is. And so, like, I feel like I couldn't be honest about saying that it's okay to pause or it's okay to shift without telling you that I have to pause, without telling you that I have to shift. Even this morning, I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were just talking about how like a lot of times we just don't even try, right? Like we worried about the end result, and we're already telling ourselves the end result is not going to happen. We don't even try, and then there's oftentimes that we have to, like I said, reroute and change the course. Like you ever been down the street, child? If you live here, let me tell you something. With all that's been going on in DC, all of this construction, it like I don't know. I go down certain streets and I be like, now I know it ain't been that long since I've been in the city, but this do not look the same. But you ever been down a street and you going and then it's like road closed? Like how? My GPS don't know it, right? Because my GPS is telling me to go forward. But how your GPS doesn't know that on that day there was a sinkhole or there was a I don't know, the little water thingy or like there's construction happening on it. Like we're looking at our GPS of something that was downloaded like a year ago, right? And you're looking at this and you're saying, no, this is the way I'm supposed to go. But if you look right in front of you, the road is closed. There's nowhere for you to go. Like you cannot go forward because there's a physical, like you gonna run over some people. Like you can't do that. So you have to redirect. But what we do is we be like, nah, this is what it says. So I'ma just, how do I can I get past you? Is there a way I can get on the other side and move around? No, you have to turn down this one way, and maybe, just maybe, you have to go back the way you came and start over. I don't know. Like it could be that maybe you have to go back to the beginning. And, even in thinking about what I was going to share with you all today, I had to ask God, like, God, you gave me all of these things. You have shown me so much stuff that you want me to do, how you want me to bless these women, how you want me to be in this world. Is it all supposed to be at the same time? I'm going to be honest. Y'all know I started this journey with the podcast. And I did the podcast, and then, the coaching thing came up, and I have found myself in this space multiple times where I've been like, okay, God, like, what's happening? Like, you want me to do this, you want me to do the podcast, but you also want me to do coaching. Am I supposed to do both at the same time? Do you want me to do one and then the other? And then guess what? I don't stop to listen. I literally just go. I be like, well, this is what it's supposed to look like, because I've seen some visions, right? And I've seen things and I've seen stuff. And I'm like, well, seems like we're on the right path. Like, this is my GPS from 2017. It's gotta be right, because that's when God first downloaded in me. But they're updates. Okay. Just like your phone gets updated, I need a iOS 2022. Like, But if I'm not sitting long enough to be able to, or make enough room to be able to be downloaded and allow things to be different, for to be okay with the shift, be okay with self posing, I'm just going to keep operating on something that was 5 years ago, that is no longer, is, it may not even work anymore. It may no longer be in service, like whatever. Like it's just not happening the way that I think it's supposed to happen. And so my prayer today was, okay, God, I know that I'm supposed to do this podcast. I know that without a doubt. I know the things that have been continuously confirmed, continuously showing me. I know that I'm supposed to do coaching because I have seen the impact. I have seen where, how it works. I see the transformations. The question is, am I supposed to go hard on both of them at the same time? And so I told myself I'm gonna just wait and I'm gonna pause. I'm just literally gonna pause. A friend of mine I was talking to today, she was saying pretty much the same thing. And that's really what made me think. I actually was talking to her first, and she was like, I some things I'm praying about and I'm waiting for confirmation from God. And so she's like, I'm just getting my house in order. I've been cleaning, I've been organizing, fixing up my workspace, doing certain things, got some things on my to-do list to take care of with my house and my family. And sometimes that's what we need to do. Sometimes we just have to pause long enough for us to be able to get the rest of the vision, the rest of the download. You ever be trying to download, Apple always coming out with new stuff. You ever be trying to download the new thing and it'll tell you you don't have enough storage? So what you gotta do? You gotta go into your iPhone storage thing, and then you try and figure out, what do I need to delete? Oh, I need to delete these gifts that are in all of these text messages that I sent. How many apps do I have that I haven't opened in 2 years? How many apps? They now have a thing where you can offload an app, which is basically pressing pause, right? You can offload the app. You don't lose anything, but it takes it off until you need it. Mm, that's a word right there. It takes it out of your storage so that you free up some space, and it puts it down. Not to say that you'll never use it again, but in this very moment, you do not need it right now. And so thank you, Holy Spirit. This was really like, okay, God, show me, what don't I need right now? I have all these things. I'm holding all these gifts. I'm holding all of these blessings that you have given me, that I'm literally trying to be like, it all belongs on the home screen, right? I'm literally like, you want me to do this, that, this, and this. I see it. I know it's possible, but what needs to be offloaded? What needs to be set to the side and put on pause for right now until you're ready for me to go? What is the thing that I really need to hold on to and I really need to focus on? At the beginning of the year, my word was focus, right? And we think we can focus on multiple things. That is not true. You can only focus on one thing at a time. Like visually, you can only focus on one thing. Can you see other stuff? Like I'm looking at the screen right now. If I'm looking at myself, I see myself. I am focused on me. My eyes are not moving. I'm focused on me. Can I see the word slaying self-doubt behind me? Yeah, but that's not really what I'm looking at. Do I see the little microphone? Can I see the stuff out my peripheral, the things that are around me, the things that are in front of me? I can see that. But what am I focused on? I am staring at my nose. I have not stopped looking at my nose. It is still there. Even when I'm looking at my nose, I can see my face, but I'm not focused on it. You have to focus on one thing. And so, in order for you to do that, there are some things you're going to have to press pause on. There are some things you're going to have to offload. There are some things that you're going to have to shift in and make an adjustment and pivot or redirect. Some things you're going to have to make a U-turn on, sis. You're going to have to U-turn, and you have to go back to the beginning of your destination and say, okay, Lord, where are we going? Where are we going, Lord? At this point, I have driven as far as I can. and longer than I should have, because you should have the will. You should be directing my path. We say that, but do we really mean it? And the answer is no, we don't really mean it. We really want to be able to have control. And so, I just want to encourage you all the same way I'm encouraging myself, that it is okay to hit pause. It's okay to just see what's going to happen. Right now, y'all, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. You still gonna get the podcast, because you're going to get the podcast because I in my bones and in my, like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to continue to do. It's the other stuff that I'm still like, you want me to do it now, or is this for later? You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know what the future holds. What I do know is that I am exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted from carrying stuff that I don't need to carry, from carrying the heaviness and the burden of trying to run God's business my way. I'm done. I'm done. And so I have to get back to a place, I have to get back to a place where I'm allowing him to lead every single thing, and not get ahead of myself. It's not that it's not in a situation where we're doing things intentionally, like, I know this, blah, blah, blah. It's just you get ahead of yourself. You see what it is. Like, y'all, I know what it is that God has in store for me. I saw it before he even gave me the phrase slaying self-doubt. I know what it's supposed to be. And I'm over here like, let's go. Come on, let's hurry up. And he like, why are you in a rush? Why are you in a rush? I'm not rushing. On top of the fact that our time is not God's time. And that's a whole nother episode that I could really go into. But I really wanted to be able to give y'all the real today and be honest with y'all about where I am, because y'all my people, right? Y'all my slayers. We've been in this together, and I know that I'm not alone in this. And so what I would like for you to do, if I'm not alone, or if anything that resonated with you today, first of all, absolutely share. But secondly, I need y'all to DM me. Please let me know I'm not by myself. Okay. Because I would like to know that. Either DM me on Instagram, join the Facebook group and mention something about it. Or send me an email, info@FeliciaWallace.com. But I really like to know that I'm not by myself. Okay, y'all. Remember, as always, I'll tell you every week, Jesus in therapy. Okay. Take charge of your mental health and get 10% off your first month of therapy at BetterHelp. You're going to go and type in www.betterhelp, SHELP.com/slang, SLAYING. Okay. BetterHelp.com/slanging. Okay. So you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. It's hoodie season, y'all, or maybe not, because it's like 90 degrees in the DMV. I don't know. But either way, you need to be prepared. Okay. Go ahead and get your hoodie. We just out here trusting God. Grab a journal. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. I already said, share this with 10 people, y'all. I think we're gonna hit 40,000 downloads by the end of this week. 48. Jesus. 48,000 downloads by the end of this week. I think we are. God is just blowing. He just be blowing my mind, bro. Like, really do. He really do. Follow me on Instagram at Slaying Self-Doubt if you're not already following me. If you're not, you're tripping. And until next week, see ya. All right, y'all, that's all for this week. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review. Remember to head over to Facebook and Instagram and follow me at Slaying Self-Doubt. Oh, wait, don't forget, go to my YouTube channel and watch this episode, and remember to press the subscribe button. Until next week, see ya.